This conference will now be recorded.
Let me start again. In the absence of Chairman Petroselli, as Vice Chair, I'm going to be chairing the meeting. So I'm going to call to order the special meeting for Monday, May 18th of the Stratford Board of Zoning Appeals. This is a public hearing, which is being a continuation of a prior recessed public hearing for applications that were held on May 5th, 2020. All applications are currently open. The public hearing continues, and I will proceed as we go through the agenda as it is published. So the very first petition is for number one Dorn Drive. Jay, do we have any new information that has been submitted since the previous hearing?
No, we received no new public commentary and no feedback from anyone via email. And it's at this time that I would recommend, per the town attorney's opinion, that we open that up to the public now for anyone speaking in favor or opposition.
Absolutely, I will do that now. Is there anyone currently here on this conference that wishes to speak in favor of petition number one, which is number one Dorn Drive? Anyone speaking in favor? Hearing none. Is there anyone involved in this conference that is speaking in opposition of number one Dorn Drive? Anyone to speak in opposition? Hearing none, the chair will call for a motion to close the public hearing for petition number one Dorn Drive.
Mary Young, motion to close.
Motion by Mary Young. Do I hear a second?
Ron Ticky, second.
Because of the nature of the conference, I will do a roll call. Commissioner Young?
Yay for closing.
Commissioner Streets?
Yes.
Commissioner Cleary?
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 5-0. The second application on this hearing this evening is 740 Honey Spot Road and 260 Stagg Street. Jay, I see that we do have additional information that was presented and posted to the website.
That is correct. We received a few emails and some, actually I think it was just photos that were sent in from the applicant. I'm pulling it up as we speak.
I'm not seeing the emails. I'm seeing the new doc from applicant, but I'm not seeing the emails.
That's correct. That's correct, Mr. Chairman. It was this application was just supplemental information from the applicant.
Very good. Seeing that there was supplemental information submitted, I'll give Attorney Willinger an opportunity to explain what that document is.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Acting Chairman, members, ladies and gentlemen of the Commission and staff, my name is Charles Willinger. I'm hearing an echo. I'm not quite sure why. I hope it's not on our end, but we'll see. I have my... It's not us? Okay, I'm told it's not us. In any event, would the commissioners want me to summarize what was said on May 5, or is that, or you just want to hear about the new information?
Just the new information, please. All of the commissioners were present on May 5th, so they did hear your initial presentation. I'd like to just deal with the new information, then I'll go to see if anyone is speaking in favor or opposed, so I'll give you the floor.
Okay, thank you. And that's what we'll do. I represent Daytona Partners, the owners of the two buildings in question, seeking in essence, it's a variance for lot area. That's the major variance. What we introduced, the new evidence was, and I don't know if you're looking at it now or have seen it, but the first thing is were a set of photographs of the 740 Honey Spot Road property, which is the Maxey's Auto Body Shop. This is the site where there was substantial remediation. It's a site that's an eyesore, and I think these pictures really bring that to light. These are pictures taken recently, within the last couple of weeks, of what that 740 Honey Spot Road property looks like, the Maxey's Auto Body. You can see really it looks more like a junkyard. And the very last photo of those 5 or so photos is a photo taken on the corner of Stagg and Honey Spot Road, Stagg Street and Honey Spot Road, and it shows on the right-hand side the medical office building. And I could tell you, although I don't have a letter, that they are absolutely in favor of seeing this this particular auto body shop property demolished, environmentally cleaned, and getting a tenant in there that's more suitable to the neighborhood. So those were the pictures showing the sad state of that property. And you'll recall my client just purchased the property 2 years ago and let the lease terminate, and now they're on month to month until we could hopefully get the property subdivided and the variance approved and get the money to remediate by mortgaging the clean piece, which is Lot A, Stagg Street, 260 Stagg Street, and that's the auto parts facility that Daytona Partners owns and maintains and operates. That's the we'll call it the clean building and the clean site. The second new information was a letter from International Investors. That's another neighbor at 860 Honey Spot Road, and it's a signed letter that they submitted to the town's, to your commission, stating that they fully support our efforts to clean up the auto body property, which would benefit, in their opinion, the entire neighborhood. And then the third and last piece of information was a handout that we prepared explaining the Connecticut zoning doctrine of fundamental fairness. And we submitted the case, the Vichy versus Stonington Zoning Board of Appeals case. It's a very well-renowned case now in the Connecticut zoning law. And it stands for and what happened there was, and it's in our little handout, there were 3 neighbors who received permission to build houses on the property, even though they had less than the lot area of 15,000 square feet. And then the petitioner, Mr. Vichy, sought approval also to get his house. His lot was less than 15. His lot was 9,500. The zoning board denied Mr. Vichy his lot, and he appealed, and the court reversed the zoning board of appeals, invoking this doctrine of what they call fundamental fairness. And there's a quote in the case. You have the whole case that we submitted, but the essence is the court said, look, the 3 neighbors all received their homes and their permits to build their home, and based on that, Mr. Vichy should have his home as well. And the fact that the other 3 had homes in the immediate vicinity of undersized lot provides and I'm just quoting the court, provides a sufficient basis for the court's decision according equal treatment to the petitioner, and his permit should be granted. So just like in that case here, and we also submitted it with, as a part of that handout in the Vichy case, the last page is a map. And you'll see that on the westerly side of Honey Spot, that's the industrial zone property, 10 of the 21 lots that are shown on that map have only 5,000 square feet. They're all undersized, well, 10 of 21. And then on the east side of Honey Spot in the residential area, 41 of the 69 lots were undersized lots. And so you can see that this neighborhood has an awful lot of undersized lots. Now, bear in mind that Lot B, the Honeyside Spot Road, the auto body shop, is undersized by some 1,700 square feet only. Lot A is over the 10,000 minimum. So it kind of balances out. but there are much smaller lots in both zones on both sides of Honey Spot Road. And so applying this doctrine of fundamental fairness would put Daytona Partners on equal footing with the rest of the neighborhood. There's no adverse impact on the neighborhood. It's only a positive impact. And hopefully with the additional information that we've given and the testimony on May 5, you would hopefully grant the variance. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Willinger. Does anyone on the commission have any questions to Attorney Willinger with regards to the new information that was submitted? Mr. Elder?
Yes. I'm sorry I joined late, had some computer malfunctions. But I live right around the corner from Maxey's Auto Shop. And I agree with you, it is an eyesore. But I'm wondering, has anyone talked to him about cleaning it up? Has he had a chance to have his day in court here? Or I just don't know what's going on with this. So I'm just wondering if anybody's approached him and asked him to clean up his place.
Well, the problem with that, sir, I didn't catch your name, I'm sorry, but is that Maxey's property is environmentally, the soil, the subterranean condition is environmentally tainted. It's dirty. And Maxey's doesn't have the financial wherewithal, which is significant, that it will take to clean up that property. So my client's plan, and we're giving him time to relocate, but the client's plan is to, after he does move out, would be to demolish that small building on his lot, and then take care of all the DEEP requirements for remediating or cleaning the site. So that's the plan. Maxey's will be given sufficient time to relocate, and has been since the lease went out. He's been on month to month. But there's unfortunately no room for him to stay there and still get the site cleaned up. I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Elder. Is there any of the other commissioners that have any questions?
Mary Young.
Go ahead, Commissioner Young.
Mr. Chairman, my question is not to the applicant, but to our town attorney. Is this timely, or shall I hold my question for later?
Feel free to ask your question now.
Thank you. So for Attorney Florek, we heard the applicant reference the Vichy case and fundamental fairness. Can you offer an opinion as to whether fundamental fairness is an adequate rationale should we choose to grant this variance to base our granting of a variance?
Well, I'm sitting here trying to read the Vichy case right now. I'm sorry, this is Attorney Florek, counsel to the DBA. I'm not sure that case concerned the granting of variances. I believe it had to do with the granting of certain permits. But as I sit here right now, it's kind of tough for me to say.
Mary Young.
Yeah, if I could be heard on that, that's not the only basis for granting the variance. Like we said last week, the hardship really involves the dirty condition, the environmentally dirty condition of proposed Lot B, and that's a hardship that is peculiar to Lot B. It's not every lot in the neighborhood is dirty, thank goodness, because then there wouldn't be a hardship. But this is a hardship that relates to the condition of the property, which a hardship has to do. It can't be purely financial, as you know, but it has to be a hardship that relates to the property, which it does. And more important than that is the question that you have to answer is, if you grant this, would you add? Is it in character with the neighborhood to have these two lots, which we believe it's obviously is in character? And number two, and most important, would be any adverse impact to the neighborhood. And we say absolutely not. It's only positive. It's something that the neighbors really would appreciate, as evidenced by this letter. So it's not solely the doctrine of fundamental fairness. That is certainly an important doctrine, but on its own, we believe that there's sufficient hardship.
Thank you. Is there any other questions from any other commissioners? Mr. Elder?
Yes, Lorenzo Elder. You were sort of going in and out when you were giving your explanation before. So when you said environmental unsound and you used the words like dirty, can you just explain that to me again, please?
Okay. The property needs environmental remediation because there are subsurface conditions and conditions within the paint shop, particularly the paint shop portion of that shed on the Honey Spot Road parcel. And my clients have been in touch with the DEEP, and they have a cleanup order once Maxi leaves the site. So that site, that lot B, the 8,300 square foot lot, 8,400 about, which will be slightly undersized. That's the property that needs to be environmentally cleaned at substantial cost. And if we don't get the subdivision, if we can't divide it, the taint, the environmental taint of what they call an establishment would affect both properties, both buildings. And so Lot A, even though it's clean, there's no problem with any environmental issue on Lot A, the Stagg Street property, but if it's not divided, then the entire property has to be characterized as dirty in effect. And what that means as a practical matter is there's no way we could mortgage it to get the money we need to clean Lot B or Maxi's property.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but I'm sorry. I'm just not getting what makes it dirty. Is it asbestos or is there something, that's substandard. Talk to me.
Okay, there are, Daytona has an environmental attorney that has a report of all of the environmental issues on the site. I'm not, privy, I don't have the particular details, but I'm told the cleanup costs will exceed $100,000. We do know that there are oils, my assistant is handing me, there's battery acid, there are various pollutants from the paint shop, and I should point out that under Connecticut law, just by being an auto body, you're classified as this establishment because they know that there's so many environmental issues with body shops. So oils, battery acids, paints, and other volatiles is the word, are all things that contaminate that site.
Okay, I'm not going to go back and forth, but from what you're telling me, has this stuff gone into the ground and it makes the ground? Because I don't understand why $100,000 is a big number. $100,000 is a big number to throw out. And from what you're telling me, the problem is, I don't see why that would cost $100,000. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I don't know what to say. I'm told that the cleanup is in excess of $100,000. And by the way, you should know, and Attorney Florek I think could verify this, just the reporting requirements, the soft cost of getting an environmental engineer to file with the DEEP, the paperwork and the follow-up and the monitoring even if there's just very little environmental, is going to be in excess of $50,000. Just the engineering.
Thank you, Attorney Willinger. Commissioner Young?
Thank you, Mary Young, for the record. I'm going to try this again by trying to get on the record while the applicant can still participate in our dialogue. The hardship argument that we can recognize under Connecticut case law unrelated to financial hardship. We've heard the applicant, Attorney Florek, talk about the improvements to the environment that will result if he's allowed to proceed. Is the environmental remediation element to this application, in your view, something this board, should they choose to, can rely upon to cite as hardship for granting of the variances? Alex?
Well, I know that Commissioner Young, this is Attorney Florek again, that you had, I actually could not find any case law on this point, surprisingly. You had asked another question as to whether the ZBA could grant a variance due to the presence of wetlands on properties, and my research indicates that there are there's cases in which the granting of variance has been upheld on the basis of the location of a wetland on property. So could you sort of assume that a variance due to the fact of environmental contamination being located on a property be upheld by a court? I suppose it could. I'm hesitant to weigh in too heavily on the merits of the applicant's case here. I don't want, obviously the ZBA here is the board that has to make the ultimate decision. So I would just say, if you think that Attorney Willinger, on behalf of his client, has demonstrated that he's got a legal hardship, then you would grant the variance, and if you don't think he has, then you would deny the variance. But
Mary Young, thank you very much.
Not trying to dodge your question, Mary Young, I would just say that I could not find any specific case law on it this weekend when I was looking. But
okay, thank you. Does any other commissioner have any other questions to the applicant?
No.
Hearing none. Is there anyone on this conference that is here to speak in favor of this petition? Again, anyone on this call or conference that is willing to speak in favor of this petition? Hearing none. Is there anyone to speak in opposition of this petition? Anyone in opposition of this petition? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to close the hearing on this petition.
Judy Clary, motion to close.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cleary, second by Mary Young. I'll do a roll call because of the nature of the meeting. Commissioner Ticky. Commissioner Ticky, you're still on mute.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Cleary.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Streets.
Yes.
Commissioner Elder, I'm not going to call on you with regards to that because you did not attend the first part of the hearing, and as such, you will not be eligible to vote if and when this matter is discussed in administrative session. So right now, you're theoretically participating as an alternate, which allows you to ask questions, but you will not be participating in the vote. Chair votes yes. Motion passes 5-0. The petition is closed.
Thank you.
Next petition. Number 3 on our agenda is 61 Shoreline Drive. Jay, did we get any new information on 61 Shoreline Drive?
No, Commissioner Forrester, we have not. I believe the applicant is here as well.
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'll allow the applicant to submit any new information that they might want to submit at this point in time.
Okay, just a couple of things. One is I had the meeting with the Waterfront and Harbor Management Commission last Tuesday, and they approved the project. Also, just in information that I'm not sure I shared last time, is that Norwalk Marine, who would be doing the part of the project of putting the studs into the ground, indicated that, you know, the extra 8 feet would provide it to be more secure and safe. It would be more aligned with the other homes that are in the area. It doesn't have any adverse impact on the property nor the street
And of course, he's the last
width in order for safety, fire safety, and all of that. And we're also are only able to get limited house insurance and increased costs of flood insurance because of the condition of the house currently.
Thank you very much. Does any commissioners have any additional questions of the petitioner? Any commissioners with any questions? Seeing none, is there anyone to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? Hearing none, is there anyone to speak in opposition of this petition? Anyone to speak in opposition to the petition? Hearing none, the chair will call for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Streets. Do I hear a second?
Mary Young, second.
Second by Commissioner Young. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call. Commissioner Young.
Yay.
Commissioner Streets.
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky.
Yes.
Commissioner Clary.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion to close is passed 5-0. Next petition, 300 Whipple Lane. 300 Whipple Lane.
I'm gonna get some water. All right.
We're hearing some background noise from some of the callers that are not identified. Could you please put yourself on mute if you're going to talk amongst yourselves? Thank you very much. Mr. Urbanski, did we receive any additional information on 300 Whippoorwill Lane?
No, we did not. Nothing new.
All right. Is the petitioner present to make any additional comments or provide any additional documentation? Do the commissioners have any questions of Mr. Urbanski? Hearing none. Is there anyone to speak in favor of this petition, 300 Whippoorwill Lane? Anyone to speak in favor of 300 Whippoorwill Lane? Hearing none. Anyone to speak in opposition to the petition of 300 Whippoorwill Lane? Anyone in opposition? Hearing none, the chair will call for a motion to close the public hearing.
Judy Clary closed the hearing.
Motion to close on this petition. Do I hear a second? Second by Mr.
Ron Ticky.
Any discussion on the motion to close this petition? Do a roll call vote. Commissioner Ticky.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Streets.
Yes.
Commissioner Clary.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 5-0. Petition number 5. 1005 Prospect Drive. Mr. Urbanski, any additional information provided on 1005 Prospect Drive?
No, nothing new, Mr. Vice Chair.
Does the petitioner wish to present any additional information? Hearing none, does the commission have any questions of Mr. Urbanski? Hearing none, is there anyone to speak in favor of this petition, which is 1005 Prospect Drive? Anyone to speak in favor? Hearing none, anyone to speak in opposition of 1005 Prospect Drive? Opposition? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to close.
Annette Street, so moved.
Motion by Commissioner Streets, second by Commissioner Young. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Commissioner Streets,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky,
Yes.
Commissioner Clary, Commissioner Clary,
Yes.
and chair votes yes. Motion passes
Yes.
5-0. Thank you. Motion passes 5-0. Next petition that's on the agenda, petition number 6, 50 Ross Drive. Mr. Hansky, any new information on 50 Ross Drive?
Yes, Jay Hibansky here. No new information has been submitted.
Very good. Does the petitioner have any additional information to submit? I'm seeing a shaking of the head.
We have no new information.
Thank you very much. Does the commission have any questions of the petitioner or Mr. Hibansky? Commissioner Young.
Thank you, Mary Young, for the record. If I could ask Attorney Florek to repeat for this record that we're compiling for 50 Ross Drive, the statement he made earlier about the presence of wetlands may be used pursuant to his review of case law to demonstrate hardship to support a variance. Mr. Florek, Attorney Florek.
Attorney Florek, we're not hearing you. Sorry, no.
Can you hear me now, guys?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry about that. I need new headphones. This is Attorney Florek again, just for the reference. Yeah, so Mary Young, I did see several cases in which the granting of a variance was upheld by the courts because of the presence of wetlands on a property. I suppose it could be just like any other geological feature like ledge that would prevent you from building a house in strict compliance with the zoning regulations. So yes, I think you could grant a variance due to the presence of wetlands if you find that those wetlands created unusual hardship to complying with the zoning regulations.
Thank you, Attorney Florek.
No problem.
Thank you, Attorney Florek. Any additional questions of Attorney Florek or Mr. Hibansky or the petitioner? Hearing none, is there anyone to speak in favor of the petition 50 Ross Drive? In favor of 50 Ross Drive? Hearing none, is there anyone to speak in opposition to the petition of 50 Ross Drive? Opposition to the petition of 50 Ross Drive? Hearing none. Motion, I tell you, the chair will entertain a motion to close.
Mary Young, motion to close.
Motion by Mary Young. Do I hear a second?
Judy Clary, second.
Second by Commissioner Ticky. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Commissioner Clary,
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Streets.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion carries 5-0. The last petition to be heard in the public hearing, petition number 7, 216 King Street, 216 King Street. Mr. Hibansky, any additional information?
Yes, we received several letters from the public, from the abutters, and our neighbors that received notifications, as well as my staff comments that did not make it up onto the website last month. Those were posted a few days after the last public hearing. I'm sorry, and this is Jay Hibansky speaking. I sent those staff comments to the applicant as well the day they were drafted, and had a conversation with the applicant as well. So that's all the new information that we have.
Very good. Is the applicant present? Is the applicant present? Hearing no response from the applicant, we will assume that there is no discussion with regards to the Statements from Mr. Hibansky with regards to the comments from his office. Does any commissioner have any questions of Mr. Hibansky with regards to the new information? Commissioner Young.
Mary Young, for the record, my apologies, Mr. Hibansky. Could you summarize, if it's feasible, the letters that were received? Were they for, against, somewhere in between? How many were we talking about? I did not see that part on the website, not because it wasn't there, just because I didn't have time.
Sure, this is Jay Hibansky. We received 2 additional letters of feedback from the public, and they were essentially follow-up letters from the first 2 public commentaries from the last meeting. So they submitted second letters essentially saying that they had spoken with the applicant, and one maintains a concern of, I think both maintain a concern of drainage, and the other has a concern with the lack of a hardship that's present for the variance. I hope that's condensed it enough while explaining what you are requesting.
Thank you. I understand it's difficult to assess what someone else said, but I appreciate your efforts and I thank you for it. And I'll leave it to the chair to decide if we can actually take motions later to close this if we don't have an applicant in attendance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do any commissioners have any other questions of Mr. Hibansky? Hearing none, is there anyone to speak in favor of this petition, 216 King Street? Anyone to speak in favor of 216 King Street? Hearing none, is there anyone to speak in opposition of 216 King Street? Opposition to 216 King Street? Hearing none, I will ask the town attorney for his opinion with regards to the fact that the applicant did not appear to be present.
In what regard? So what's the specific concern with them not being here?
Commissioner Young had asked whether or not we could close the hearing without the applicant having an opportunity to be present. My understanding from previous hearings is that, yes, you can close the public hearing if the applicant has not made themselves available to the special meeting.
Yeah, I think you can still close it without their presence. I mean, the meeting was duly noticed online on the town website in accordance with the governor's executive order. So I can't see why you couldn't close the public hearing.
Thank you very much, Attorney Florek. With that having been said and having no one to speak in favor or opposition, the chair will entertain a motion to close.
Annette Streets, motion to close.
Motion to close by Commissioner Streets. Do I hear a second?
Second, Ron Ticky.
Second by Mr. Ticky. Any discussion on the motion to close? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Streets.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
No.
Commissioner Ticky.
Yes.
Commissioner Clary. Commissioner Clary. Last call, Commissioner Clary. Commissioner Clary did not respond. Chair votes yes. Motion to close passes 3-1 with one abstention, absence, whichever you want to clarify it for the record. No response. That having been said, there are no additional applications on the agenda for this special meeting. The chair will entertain a motion to close the special meeting.
Motion to close the special
No.
meeting. Mary Young?
I heard an arbitrary no, and I'm not sure what that referred
No.
to. Okay, I'm hearing an arbitrary no. I'm not
No.
sure what that's. All right, that was enough of that. All right, there's a motion to close by Commissioner Young. Do I hear a second?
Commissioner Clary, no.
Okay, my understanding is Commissioner Clary is recording a vote no
Wait,
to close the petition of 216 King Street, which has already been closed, but that would still mean that the motion to close passes 3 votes to 2. So the petition is closed. Back to the motion of Commissioner Young to close the public hearing. There's a motion to close the public hearing. Do I hear a second?
to the motion, it's Clary.
Was that a second to the motion to close by Commissioner Clary? Do I have a second to close, second to the motion to close the public hearing?
Commissioner Streets, second.
Thank you, Commissioner Streets. We have a motion and a
Judy
second.
Clary. Yes, it was.
Okay, I think Commissioner Clary, we're having some difficulty with your audio.
Judy Clary, yes.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Commissioner Streets,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky,
Yes.
Commissioner Clary, Commissioner
Yes.
Clary. Thank you. Chair votes yes. Motion
Yes.
passes. Motion passes 5-0. The special meeting and public hearing has been closed. We will now go on to the administrative session. So I will now begin the administrative session. First item on the agenda is a vote on applications on the May 18, 2020 agenda. Does anyone wish to take petition number 1 off the table? Commissioner Young makes a motion to take petition number 1 off the table. Do I hear a second?
Second,
by
Ron
Mr.
Ticky.
Second by Mr. Ticky. Any discussion on the motion? All those, we're going to go roll call for all those in favor. We're going to go roll call with Commissioner Streets,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Clary,
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky.
Yes.
Vote yes. Open for discussion on petition number 1, Dorn Drive. Do I hear a motion? Commissioner Young,
Mary Young, for the record, motion to approve.
we have a motion to approve from Commissioner Young. Do I hear a second to that motion?
Commissioner Streets, second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any discussion on the motion? Commissioner Young,
Mary Young, for the record, I should have cited my rationale for making my motion was public safety.
duly noted for the record. The hardship is public safety. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Streets,
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky,
Yes.
Commissioner Clary.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion passes 5-0. Petition number 2, does anyone have any motion to take petition number 2 off the table? That's 740 Honey Spot Road, 260 Stagg Street.
Mr. Forrester, it's Lorenzo Elder.
Yes,
If I'm not going to be able to participate, then I think I should probably leave, no?
although Mr. Elder, you can participate with regards to CAM site plan review if there's any actions that need to be taken. You can participate with members' concerns and comments or any other items that may be on the agenda. It's up to you if you wish to participate and stay for that. You are well within your right to leave, but you still have an opportunity to discuss with regards to items 3, 4, and 5 on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone want to take petition number 2 off the table? Commissioner Young,
Mary Young, yes, motion to take it off the table.
a motion by Commissioner Young. Do I hear a second?
Second, Judy Clary.
Second by Commissioner Clary. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call vote. Commissioner Ticky,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Clary,
Yes.
Commissioner Streets.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Chair will entertain any motion on petition number 2. Commissioner Young,
Mary Young, for the record. Sometimes things happen for a reason. I'm glad we had this second bite of the apple, continuation of the public hearing, so that we can get on the record that environmental contamination and proposed remediation, we believe, may be used as demonstrating hardship to support the granting of the variance. And for those reasons, I make a motion to grant the variance.
we have a motion to grant, motion to approve this application by Commissioner Young. Do I hear a second?
Second, Ron Ticky.
Second,
Second
Judy
by-
Clary.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? I do have a question for Attorney Florek. Attorney Florek, would we be within our authority to add a stipulation that part of the approval process is that the property does in fact, the new subdivided lot, if it passes, does get, is forced to be remediated?
Yes, I think you could grant that as a condition or stipulation to your approval.
Is there a specific time frame where we would be having that? In other words, they have 36 months, 5 years, whatever the time period, 1 year, whatever the time period might be, being reasonable, of course, with regards to that stipulation.
Yeah, I wish I knew more about environmental remediation. Jay's got his hand up there. Jay, do you?
Jay?
Yes, thank you, Jay Hibansky. We may want to, I'm trying to think, because a lot of the remediation is centered around the deep approvals. And I don't have the report in front of me about whether or not there were any timelines on that. Maybe we could say that if the board wanted to attach a condition of approval regarding timelines, that the remediation shall be completed in accordance with DEEP guidelines.
Excellent suggestion. Commissioner Young, would you accept that as an amendment, friendly amendment to your motion?
Yes, and I'm grateful for the chairman making that suggestion.
Commissioner Streets, do you, no, excuse me, Commissioner Ticky, I believe you were the second on this. Do you accept that?
Yes, I do.
Very good. Is there any further discussion amongst the commissioners? Hearing none, we'll go for a roll call. Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky?
Yes.
Commissioner Streets?
Yes.
Commissioner Clary?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion passes 5-0. Chair will entertain any action on 61 Shoreline Drive.
Mary
Commissioner
Young, motion to take it off the table.
Motion by Commissioner Young to take it off the table. Do I hear a second?
Second, Ron Ticky.
Second by Mr. Ticky. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Commissioner Clary? Pass for the
Yes.
moment. Thank you very much. Commissioner Ticky?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Streets? Chair votes yes. It's off the table. The chair will entertain any motion on 61 Shoreline Drive. Any discussion? Anyone wishes to make a motion regarding 61 Shoreline Drive to approve or deny? Commissioner Young?
Mr. Chairman, perhaps it's because time has passed since May 5th, I'm trying to remember if we heard testimony subsequent to Jay Hibansky's staff report that cited he did not believe that there was traditional hardship demonstrated by this applicant. Can the chairman remind me if he heard testimony that we could rely upon to potentially grant the variance?
I do not recall specific with regards to hardship, but I see Mr. Hibansky has his hand raised. Mr. Hibansky.
Yes, Jay Hibansky, thank you. I thought I heard tonight, I had a conversation with the applicant after some questioning about hardship at the last meeting, and I don't think she completely understood what she was being asked at the time. So I spoke with her, and I talked about the expansion of the footprint and was it necessary. And I think that were more of my concerns and what I thought I was hearing from Commissioner Young about what her hardship was. And tonight, I believe I heard, and I generally do not try to either support or deny an application too much, but these are unique circumstances. And I thought I heard the applicant say that she spoke to the engineer, the gentleman or the person who engineered their project, and the wider stance or footprint of her new home and the additional piers was going to make it a safer home. That's what I believe I heard, and I'll just turn that over to the commission. Maybe I'm incorrect, but that's what I thought I heard.
Yeah, very good. Did the applicant also indicate that she had received approval from another agency? Was it a local agency?
Yes, Jay Hibansky here. That was the all CAM coastal area management applications are forwarded to the Waterfront Harbor Management Commission for review. They decide to review some, they choose not to review others. This was referred to them. I have not received any official feedback from the Waterfront Harbor Management Commission. I know the applicant, she called me afterwards and told me that they gave her a favorable recommendation. So I will take her word for that, but I have not gotten an official recommendation letter. Traditionally, at least according to the state statutes, an application that's been referred to either the Planning Commission or for a recommendation, or the Waterfront Harbor Management Commission for a recommendation. If a response isn't given within 35 days, it's considered an automatic favorable recommendation. So it's been several months since this has been referred to them. I know they had the meeting, but I apologize, I do not know the outcome.
Okay, very good. Does any other Commissioner Young?
I don't want to stifle others' enthusiasm, but I thank Mr. Hibansky for reminding me, not what I heard on May 5th, but what I heard an hour ago, that public safety is something we heard on the record that could support the granting of this variance. And so if it's timely, I'd like to make a motion to approve, citing public safety as the rationale and the suggested condition that the applicant conform to any recommendations offered by the Waterfront Management Commission.
Thank you very much. I have a motion to approve, second by Mr. Tiki. Discussion on that motion. Discussion, hearing none. We'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Tiki.
Yes.
Commissioner Streets.
Yes.
Commissioner Curry.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 5-0. Motion number 5, 1005 Prospect Drive. Chair will entertain a motion. Commissioner Young.
Mary Young, motion to take it off the table.
Motion by Commissioner Young to take off the table. Do I hear a second?
Second, Judy Clary.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Streets. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call. Commissioner Clary?
Yes.
Commissioner Tiki?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Streets?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion to remove from the table is 5-0. The chair will now entertain any discussion, any motion with regards to approval or denial. Motion to approve or deny, anyone?
Motion to approve, Judy Clary.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Clary. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner
Second.
Tiki. Now entertain discussion on the motion. Does anyone have discussion with regards to 1005 Prospect Drive? Commissioner Young.
Mary Young for the record. Again, my memory may not be serving, but perhaps Commissioner Clary could, for the record, identify what hardship she's relying upon to grant the variance, because my recollection was there seemed to be other alternatives that did not necessitate a variance, so feel free to remind me of what I forgot.
I believe that the neighbor had been approved for the same kind of variance.
Thank you, Commissioner Clary. I would ask Attorney Florek to discuss his previous comment with regards to wetlands, but he seems to have temporarily disappeared from the meeting. So we'll continue the discussion. Does anyone else have any further discussion with regards to this petition? Commissioner Florek has returned to us. Commissioner Florek, question for you.
Sorry about that.
You had made reference earlier in the meeting with regards to another petition. I believe I heard something with regards to wetlands and a hardship created by a coastal resource. Could you refresh my memory as to what specifically did you touch upon that earlier?
Yes, well, this is Attorney Florek here. Commissioner Mary Young had inquired whether the location of wetlands on a property could form the basis of a hardship, and I said that it could, similar to a way that a ledge could form the basis of a hardship, because it makes it difficult to locate a structure or an improvement on a property in certain places. So my opinion was only that a wetland could form the basis of granting a hardship due to some legal research I did this weekend.
Thank you very much. Does any commissioner have any additional comments? Commissioner Young.
Mr. Chairman, if we're on Whippoorwill, are we?
No, we are on 50 Ross Drive. Oh, wait a minute. Which one did we?
Prospect.
No, we're on Prospect. We took, the motion was to take Prospect off the table. So we're on Prospect, which also required a coastal site plan review.
When we were excuse me, Mary Young for the record, when I was referring to wetlands, I thought that was the Ross Drive application where Attorney Florek was speaking. I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. That's still coming further forward. This petition happens to indicate as their hardship to waive the required setback for, well, there's a typographical error here, OA, but to waive the required setback to a coastal resource from 75 feet to 39 feet to construct an in-ground pool incidental to a single family. So there is a coastal resource that's involved in this particular petition.
Mary Young for the record. So perhaps you're extrapolating the reference Attorney Florek made to wetlands to coastal resources. That's where I got confused. Thank you.
Not a problem. I'll in fact, I'll ask that question to Attorney Florek. Attorney Florek, can a coastal resource also be considered a wetland?
Yeah, I suppose it could. I mean, it's another feature on the property that the applicant seems to believe is it makes it difficult for them to build this pool in compliance with the zoning regulations. So I suppose a coastal resource could also form the basis of a hardship.
Thank you very much, Attorney Florek. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, we will call a roll call vote. Oh, let me just refresh my memory. Did we already do? No, We took it off the table for discussion. We do not have a motion to approve. My mistake.
Yes, we did. We did.
Okay.
Judy Clary approved it and Ron Ticky seconded.
Thank you very much for that. Then we will have a roll call vote on the motion to approve. Commissioner Clary,
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
No, that, I guess I lost track of whether or not a hardship was cited in the motion.
the hardship that was indicated was not specific. It related to a previous property that was granted approval. Commissioner Clary, would you be so kind as to amend your motion to specifically state the hardship being a setback to a coastal resource?
So said.
Commissioner Ticky, do you accept that amendment to the motion?
Yes.
Any further discussion on the amendment to the motion? Commissioner Young?
I'll now change my vote to yes.
Okay, Commissioner Young, thank you. Commissioner Streets?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, so the motion will pass 5-0 as amended on 1005 Prospect. We now move to petition number 6, which is the aforementioned 50 Ross Drive. 50 Ross Drive. I'll entertain a motion to take it off the table. Commissioner Young?
Mary Young, motion to take it off the table.
We have a motion to take it off the table. Do I hear a second?
Second. Ron Ticky.
Second by Mr. Ticky. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, roll call vote. Commissioner Streets?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky?
Yes.
Commissioner Clary?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. The petition is off the table. The chair will now entertain action on the petition. Anyone make a motion to approve or deny? Jay? Anyone make a motion to approve or deny? Commissioner Young?
A motion to approve citing wetlands as the hardship.
A motion to approve citing wetlands as the hardship. Do I hear a second to that motion?
Second, Judy Clary.
Second by Commissioner Clary. Discussion? Hearing none, we will vote on the motion to approve. Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Clary?
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky?
Yes.
Commissioner Streets?
Yes.
Commissioner Forrester votes yes. Motion passes 5-0. The last petition on the administrative session agenda is 216 King Street. Do I hear a motion to take it off the table?
Mary Young, motion to take it off the table.
We have a motion to take off the table by Commissioner Young. Do I hear a second?
Second. Ron Ticky.
Second by Commissioner Ticky. Any discussion to take it off the table? Hearing none. Commissioner Young? We're voting on the motion to take it off the table. Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky?
Yes.
Commissioner Clary?
Yes.
Commissioner Streets?
Yes.
The chair votes yes. The motion is now applicable for discussion. Do I hear a motion to approve or deny? Do I hear a motion to approve or deny?
Judy Clary, a motion to deny.
We have a motion to deny by Commissioner Clary. Do I hear a second to that motion?
Second. Ron Ticky.
We have a second by Commissioner Ticky. Discussion of the motion. Commissioner Young?
Mary Young, for the record, I'm not sure we have to, but I would benefit from hearing if Commissioner Clary is willing to share her reasons for denial.
Commissioner Clary,
Yes.
your reasons for denial.
Yes, there is question about water runoff on this property. I know that study was being done, but Jay Habansky put up information on that, and I can't see approving it with that information.
Okay. Any further discussion with regards to this petition? Commissioner Ticky?
Yeah, I will be voting against this petition. The property's in my district, and from walking the neighborhoods, I know some of the folks there. I see the big concern on the water runoff of said property into the abutting property owners. During there, I don't see they'd have to do some kind of extensive water diversion practices. I don't know the proper terminology, but I could see a big major flooding situation.
Thank you, Commissioner Ticky. Any further discussion? Commissioner Sheets?
Yes, I visited the property as well, and I concur. I saw all kinds of potential for water runoff problems should this go forward.
Commissioner Young?
I thank my fellow members for putting their concerns on the record, because I imagine the applicant will benefit from knowing, if they get another bite at the apple, how they can better prepare next time. And forgive me if Stratford doesn't do it this way, but I believe these Board of Zoning Appeals can tell an applicant, we will not hear an application for a 6-month period. But I also believe that the Zoning Board of Appeals has the right through their chairman to waive that 6-month requirement. And should the applicant address the concerns expressed by my fellow commissioners, I hope the chairman will allow for revisiting this application should it be submitted in less than 6 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Young. Commissioner Hibansky, excuse me, Mr. Hibansky.
Thank you. Jay Hibansky here. If the application was, or I'm sorry, if the commission, just following up with Commissioner Young said, the board is interested in giving the applicant an opportunity to come immediately back if they're able to address something they can deny. And the board was so inclined to deny that application. You could deny it without prejudice and then allow them to come back with some substantial change that addresses a major concern, such as water runoff, maybe a more thorough stormwater management plan, if they so choose to come back. I'll make one other suggestion. If the board is going to deny this application, they may want to also include that there's nothing unusual about the lot that makes it particularly difficult to comply with the regulations. It's a conforming lot. They're just trying to subdivide, and they just don't have the room in order to do that based on the location of the home. So that would be just a second suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Further discussion? If not, I'll weigh in. I am going to vote against this petition. Again, I do not believe that the hardship as indicated in the applicant's original documentation was fully correct. Mr. Hibansky is right. It is a perfectly fine zoned lot as it is right now. The attempt is to subdivide. I'm also concerned with the 2.2 foot side setback in a district that requires a 10-foot setback. 2.2 seems to be taking more than a bite at the apple. It's trying to take 75% of our current standards and waive those, going from 10 feet to 2.2 feet. So besides the fact that there is a potential for water runoff that may need to be mitigated on the property, the hardships of the physical property lot, in my estimation, have not been met. And that's why I will be voting no on this petition. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we will do a roll call vote. Commissioner Clary.
No.
Commissioner Ticky.
No.
Commissioner Young.
No.
Commissioner Streets.
No.
Chair votes no. The chair will also note for the record, I will have a separate vote with regards to whether or not the petitioner can come back within the 6-month period. I will enter, the motion has been denied 5-0, but I will entertain discussion with regards to the waiver of the 6-month period under a separate motion. Does anyone want to make a motion to waive the 6-month waiting period?
No.
Commissioner Young?
I'll make the motion to waive it, but I think my past experience is we defer to the chairman to use his or her discretion to make that decision. So I'm open to it.
Okay, that's very good. Do I hear a second to the motion? Do I hear a second to the motion?
Annette Streets, I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to waive the 6-month period. Discussion on the motion. Hearing no discussion, I will weigh in. I don't think that the applicant will be able to address these concerns within 6 months and would be not inclined to grant that 6-month waiver. But that is only my opinion at this point in time. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the motion. Commissioner Ticky?
Yeah.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Streets?
Yes.
Commissioner Clary?
No.
Chair votes no, motion fails 3-2. If the chairman wishes to override that, that's his prerogative, but I think I just wanted to go on the record of having that motion. Mr. Urbanski?
I didn't mean to interrupt you. If you have any more on this application, I'll let you go and then I can ask the question afterwards.
Nothing further on this application. Go ahead.
I thought I heard Mr. Vice Chairman say that this was the last application. Did I miss the audio for 300 Whippoorwill? I think we still have that one more item unless I missed it.
I believe we discussed 300 Whippoorwill.
No.
We did not.
Then my apology. I skipped over 300 Whippoorwill. My apology. Okay, very good. You're absolutely right. That's my apology. I skipped over that. Thank you for noticing that, Mr. Urbanski. The chair will entertain discussion on taking 300 Whippoorwill off the table.
Judy Clary, take it off the table.
Motion by Commissioner Clary, second by Mr. Ticky. Discussion? Hearing none. Commissioner Clary? Commissioner Clary? Commissioner Ticky?
Yes.
I move to approve.
All right, so we have 2 votes to take it off the table. Commissioner Young?
Mary Young, can we understand what the hardship is that we're citing for granting the variance?
This is just a motion to take it off the table. There's no approval or denial.
My apologies. Yes, to take it off the table, Mary Young.
No problem. Commissioner Streets?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Before we proceed, I just want to make sure we were clear on 216 King Street. The motion was to deny, and that was a 5-0. I think we were talking about voting no on the petition, which would mean that we would need to vote yes on the motion. Did we in fact vote yes on the motion, or did we vote no on the motion? I think we need some clarity on that. Is our secretary available? Secretary,
which motion are you talking about? The motion to deny or the motion to have the applicant come back?
Motion to deny. The motion to deny.
It was 5-0.
5-0 to deny, which means we voted yes on the motion to deny, correct?
Which means yes on the motion to deny, right?
Thank you very much. I just wanted that clarification because sometimes people get confused between their yeses and their nos. Okay, petition 300 Whippoorwill Lane is off the table for either a motion to approve or a motion to deny.
Judy Clary, motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second? Failing to garner a second, that motion fails.
Second, Ron Ticky.
So, Mr. Ticky, you're voting to approve, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Clary and a second by Commissioner Ticky to approve the petition. Discussion on the motion. Commissioner Young.
To repeat what I said prematurely a few minutes ago, if I could understand what my fellow commissioners who voted and seconded the motion to grant, what the hardship is they are relying upon for their motion.
This is Judy Clary. It has to do with the shape of the property. It's impossible to do much else.
Okay. Mr. Young. Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, we will call this motion. A vote yes is to approve. Commissioner Clary.
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Streets.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. This motion passes 5-0. This petition is approved. Just, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but I just want to make sure that with regards to 216 King Street, that Attorney Florek, you concur with the fact that the motion to deny was passed 5-0, correct?
Correct. That was my understanding of what went down. Yep.
Thank you very much. That having been said, there are no additional petitions on the agenda. So we will move on. Since the vote on applications is completed, we will move on to the approval of minutes of the May 5, 2020. The agenda says a May 18 administrative meeting. That kind of doesn't make sense. You can't approve minutes of the meeting that's not done yet. So how about
I'm a go-getter, so I got a little bit ahead of myself. I apologize for that.
Okay, so how about we entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the May 5 meeting. Commissioner Young.
Motion to approve?
Do I hear a second?
Second, Judy Clary.
Motion to approve by Judy Clary. Motion to approve by Mary Young, second by Judy Clary. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none. Commissioner Young.
Aye. Yes.
Commissioner Clary.
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky.
Yes.
Commissioner Streets.
Yes.
And chair votes yes. Mr. Amansky, 61 Shoreline Drive, the CAM site plan review. Do you have anything on that one?
Okay, thank you. Yes, Jay Habansky. I'm just pulling up my staff comments. The coastal resources present at this location are identified in the town's coastal resources map as beaches and dunes, which are mildly sloping shores composed of waterworks sand, gravel, cobbled deposits, which are beach, and when present, wind deposited sands, dunes, or flats. This application was referred to the analyst at DEEP, and they sent me an email, which we have in the file, that says they have no comments for the app for the commission to consider.
Okay, thank you. So there's no comments, there's no actions that need to be required. Do you have any information regarding CAM site plan review for 1005 Prospect?
And I am pulling that up right now. Give me 1 second. This is Jay Habansky.
Mary Young, can I interrupt? I apologize.
Certainly, Commissioner Young.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Habansky, but don't we need to approve the coastal site plan for the application at Shoreline Drive?
Yes, this is Jay Habansky. I'm
Thank
sorry
you,
to
Mary.
interrupt.
I was gonna say the same
Yes,
thing.
this is Jay This is Jay Abansky. We'll have to vote on each one of these items independently.
Right, I was planning on doing that when we get past this discussion, then calling them in the roll, just like we would on an agenda.
Sure. So I'll give my assessment, Mr. Vice Chair, for 1005 Prospect now.
Certainly, please proceed.
Okay. So the applicant has also submitted a coastal site plan review application in accordance with the Connecticut Coastal Management Act. The subject lot resides in an area defined as shorelands, which are defined as upland areas at elevations in excess of the 100-year still water level and located within the coastal boundary. It doesn't appear that the proposed scope of work, if approved, would have any significant negative impacts on the abutting coastal resources. On March 9th, 2020, the Office of Planning and Zoning received email correspondence from DEEP stating that they had no comments for the Zoning Commission at this time. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. That having been said, we have heard two CAM site plan reviews. First of which is 61 Shoreline Drive. The chair will entertain a motion to approve or deny the application for that.
Mary Young, motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Young. Do I hear a second?
Annette Street, second.
Motion by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Streets. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call. Commissioner Young. Oh, Commissioner Hibansky. Excuse me, Mr. Hibansky.
Close enough. Yes, Jay Hibansky. My one suggestion would be that since this was one of the only applications that was the variance was approved with a condition, the commission may want to attach that same condition to this, which was reviewed by the Waterfront Harbor Management Commission. And that condition is to conform with any of the Waterfront Harbor Management Commission recommendations. That's it.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Young, do you accept that as a friendly amendment to your motion?
I do, thank you, yes.
Commissioner Cleary, Commissioner Streets, do you accept that as a second to that motion?
I do.
Very good. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Streets.
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky.
Yes.
Commissioner Clary.
Yes.
Vote yes. Motion passes 5-0. Chair will entertain a motion on 1005 Prospect.
Mary Young, motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Judy Clary.
Second by Commissioner Clary. Mr. Hibansky, any comments?
Nothing additional. No.
Thank you very much. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Clary.
Yes.
Commissioner Ticky.
Yes.
Commissioner Streets.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 5-0. Now moving on to item number 4, members' concerns and or comments.
Mary Young, for the record. I just wanted to thank our acting chairman tonight. Like you've done this before. Well done, sir. And I want to thank Mr. Elder for continuing to participate, although stifled from voting. Bravo to you for your perseverance, and for all my fellow members. Thank you for making this a success. That's all.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mary. It's been a while since I've actually chaired one of these type of meetings. I did it before in the zoning commission, and on the council, I chaired a number of meetings, and the Board of Education as chairman, I chaired a number of meetings, but it's been a little while, so I had to dust off a little bit of the rust, but I do appreciate your indulgence.
Good job, Gavin.
Thank you. That having, Mr. Hibansky.
Yeah, I just want to echo that again. Well done, Vice Chairman. Thank you very much, and all the board members for really doing an excellent job. I don't think there are very many large cities or small towns handling 8 application agendas at the moment with such professionalism. So my hat's off to everyone here. Really well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item number 5 on the agenda is other items. Anybody have any other items? If not, our next meeting is on June 2nd. The agenda has, I believe, already been published. Additional information will become available as Mr. Hibansky puts it up online. It will still be a remote meeting. My understanding is that Town Hall is not scheduled yet to be reopened, and with social distancing, we may be better off handling a remote meeting anyways. But you will get further instructions if anything changes from the chairman. That having been said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mary Young, motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Young. Do I hear a second?
Judy
Clary, second.
Second by Commissioner Streets. There's no discussion on a motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Well, I can't do that.
Aye.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Streets,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickey,
Yes.
Commissioner Clary.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes. We're off the record. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Take care, everyone.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.